Thanks, guys. What are your names?
I'm Nathan.
Nathan?
Yeah.
And are you community service officers?
We're police aides.
You're police aides?
Yeah, we're in college right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Good. Well, good for you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate what you're doing.
You have a good one.
Okay.
This is Susan Bassi, and long before we met a group of journalists who were recording the police and putting their videos up online, we were investigating the courts. And that investigation included looking at police officers and how they write reports and how they testify in court. It includes looking at the lawyers and looking at the judges, and the culture that exists in those courtrooms where there are no cameras allowed. So I thought I would take you on our investigative audit of the Berkeley Police Department, where there are currently cries for defunding of the police, and where the local government is considering removing the police from making traffic stops and responding to domestic violence or civil harassment calls, such as the one that I'm about to show you. Because in this call, 3 police officers responded and had their body cams on. They arrested a judge and his wife, who were the parents of another police officer.
The thing that freaks me out is that everything you do is going to be scrutinized because of your job.
Well, Mark, I never mentioned anything about my job or who I was. You could ask any officer. I never mentioned anything like that.
This is the body cam footage taken from the first police officer who responded to the 911 call that was made by the judge, who was upset over issues related to his neighbor's parking of cars. And when we evaluate these body cams, we're not just looking for the issues related to the dispute. We're looking for how the police officer responds and if the judge felt entitled to certain kinds of treatment because he was a judge. And we're also looking at the temperament of the judge, which is supposed to be honorable on and off the bench.
Okay? Okay? Exactly. Rip my friggin' chain off.
Calls.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it all on camera.
All right,
Don't
step.
you? I hit a fucking button because you're
When you first see this video, it makes you understand why it's hard to get mainstream media to report on what's going on in our family courts. It sounds like a lot of fighting and yelling over things that don't seem important, given all that we have going on. But when you consider that the woman in the pink shirt is actually the wife of a judge and the mother of 2 police officers, it changes the way that you look at this video. And we should be watching the video for the police officer and if he's following his training and following the law on this call.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, if you don't stop yelling, this is going to be a problem for you.
I don't care.
Okay, cool. Then get over here.
You're not here to arrest me.
I sure.
No, you're not.
We are not doing this right now. We are not doing this right now.
It's unclear if the police officer arrested the wife because she was yelling. But in this video, you see that the judge actually pushes the police officer as he's trying to arrest his wife.
Let him arrest me. I don't care.
Dude.
Come on, take
You're
me.
going in the back of the car
I
and
will.
we can deal with this.
No, you have no idea. This.
Put your hands behind your back or we are going to have a problem. Put your hands behind your back.
Hey!
And this is where the judge actually makes a threat on the police officer, telling him that if he arrests his wife, his effing wife, the police officer will be sorry.
You're gonna be sorry.
I don't care. Let him.
The foul language of the judge and his wife, as they name drop everybody they know who's a police officer, is rather startling. It certainly probably isn't language that they used in the courtroom or when they were attending all those judge dinners.
I don't care. I don't
Okay.
care. If it gets you, I will.
I'm so done listening to you scream.
Why? Because it's the truth.
Everybody's story.
You're hearing them first. You
I'm
don't
gonna
understand. Ask any neighbor.
That doesn't mean I'm not going to listen to you. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear what you have to say.
They're too tight.
I want to hear what you have to say. But you are screaming it.
Loosen these.
Let me talk to you. Since you had so much to say and you touched a cop. So let me talk to you. God, let me talk to you. God, quiet. Quiet. No, you're not done talking yet. And I'm not done talking to you. So let's be quiet, Dad, so son can get some words in. You're saying everybody's fucking name. and dropping everybody's name with a badge, and you're expecting special treatment. How does that look like to everybody in this environment right now? It doesn't look good.
I know.
And then you
You're right.
grab him.
You're
What do you want me to
100%
do?
right. Listen,
What do you want me to
100%
do?
right.
Why are you still over talking?
You're 100% right.
We're going back over to my car.
No, I'm just saying you're 100% right.
We're going over here now. You smell like sheep.
Well, the body camera footage made national headlines. New York State Supreme Court Justice Mark Grisanti shoving a Buffalo police officer in the middle of a neighborhood dispute. So what happened after that? Apparently not much, at least not yet. As Jeff Kelly with Investigative Coast explains, the judge's actions could end up costing him his job.
No charges were filed in the June 22nd altercation that pitted Judge Mark Grisanti and his wife against their North Buffalo neighbors. But the judge may still be in trouble. The couple the Grisantis tangled with have filed complaints with every authority you can think of, including the State Commission on Judicial Conduct. That commission has the power to investigate and remove judges who behave badly. It does so rarely. In Erie and Niagara counties, just 12 times in the last 40 years, but it does happen, and Grisanti has reasons to worry. One, right now, the court system is trying to save money by cutting its roster of judges statewide, according to a recent Buffalo News report. The former state senator made more than $200,000 last year as a judge, more than $1 million since Governor Andrew Cuomo appointed him to the bench in 2015. Two, the incident is affecting his ability to do his job. This week, Grisanti recused himself from 3 cases involving the Buffalo Police Department.
A year ago, we met a group of journalists who were recording the police and putting their videos up online. At the time, we probably didn't understand how important that work was, and we probably weren't thinking about the connection between the police, the lawyers, and the judges in the courts and the court cases that we were evaluating. But we were there on that day to address judge crime and how it could be that judges could get away with crimes without being prosecuted or removed from the bench.
All we said here today was, show us the data.
Producing.
Show us the numbers. And they said, oh, well, that's confidential. It's not confidential.
Right, yeah, it's supposed to be public.
You know, now if you think about it, there is a confidentiality as to investigations. If someone's being criminally investigated, if a judge is being investigated, that information does remain confidential.
And Mark and Maria came over onto our property, into our driveway. My husband came down from the porch. Maria physically pushed my husband. She punched my husband in the face. I came off the porch, told her not to touch my husband, and she bit my husband's arm and would not release.
Mally's husband Joseph has the bruises to prove it. A black eye and bite marks. Mally has her own bruise where she says Maria Grisanti grabbed her.
Her and Mark were very, very intoxicated.
The video on Mally's home security camera is choppy and the audio slightly out of sync. But police can be seen escorting Maria Grisanti in handcuffs to a police car, which Mally says didn't please the judge.
He was saying, I'm a judge, let my wife out of the car, I'm gonna have your job.
She says Grisanti seems to have had his own scuffle with a police officer.
The next thing I knew, Mark was in handcuffs, and I heard the officer say, you don't put your hands on an officer. You don't put your hand on an officer, and then he got put in the cop car.
We're wondering if we could talk to you or your husband about
we have no comment.
this situation.
It's under police investigation.
Okay.
So
Do you want we'd love for you to give your side of the story if you're interested.
No.
Maria Grisanti had nothing to say when the I-Team went to her house Wednesday. Buffalo police confirmed the fight is under investigation and that the Erie County DA's office is involved.
But we're talking strictly about statistics. For the past 20 years, Commission, how many times have you referred a judge to the Attorney General or to a district attorney for criminal prosecution? You said you've done it multiple times. We can only find, after scouring public records, we can only find one instance where there's an indication that the Commission made a referral. Only one, and that's Judge Dancer, DANSER, back in 2004.
2004, it's 2019.
Yeah.
That's 15 years.
Yeah. And interestingly, if you look at California compared to other states, for example, New York or even Alabama, you see in those states, judges get prosecuted. Here they don't. It's extremely rare.
Between us, We have about 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. Your words are extremely valuable to our channels. We look for people like you every day. We go out and record public officials, police committing crimes and not answering up to these things.
Yeah.
And so I just want to say I am so happy that we walked in here today, so happy that we spoke to the lady that walked out, so happy to speak to you and hear your words and find out what truly is going on.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, and let me just tell you that what started this all for me as an attorney. I've been an attorney for almost 35 years. I had a case involving a mobile home park owned by seniors, and we had a crooked judge. And what did he do? There was these rich people that wanted to buy the park. I filed lawsuits to stop that. We disqualified the judge, Judge Moss, because we knew he was biased against us. And we filed for what's called a temporary restraining order, a TRO, to stop the sale. Judge Moss was disqualified. What did he do? He was on vacation. He called in from vacation and stopped our TRO. Then he put himself back on the case.
Wow.
And then 4 hours later, the deed recorded and the seniors lost millions in real estate equity. And Judge Moss says nobody asked him to call in. How can it be, if you're a judge, you've been disqualified, we all know what disqualified means, you've been disqualified. You're not on the case anymore, you're not on the team, you can't compete, whatever, you're disqualified. You don't get to self-requalify. Hey, I hereby declare I'm just disqualified. And I mean, it insults the intelligence to say, for this judge to say under oath, nobody contacted me and asked me to call in at precisely the right time while I was on vacation, on a case not in my court on which I was disqualified.
They don't know why.
About that.
I have a camera, so that's it's all documented.
I don't care about your camera. Just give it a little constructive criticism, dude.
Okay.
Judges probably care more about cameras than they're willing to admit, which is why they're not usually allowed in a courtroom where they would reveal the relationship between the police, the district attorney, and the judge, which is why we're returning to Berkeley, California. For just a week before that judge was involved in an incident with his neighbors, a young college kid by the name of Seth Smith was murdered on Dwight Way in Berkeley. And there were no cameras to document that murder, only calls and police reports, and that will be used in court. And the mother of Seth Smith is a teacher, trying to navigate the criminal justice system in a way she never thought she probably would have to do. And she's entitled to know what's going on. She's entitled to know the truth, and that the police officers writing those reports or giving testimony would give it in the same way, whether the person who murdered her child was a homeless man on the street or a judge who sits in court deciding the fate of others.
Hi there.
Hi.
My name's Susan Bassi. I'm covering the protests and the police issues right now. And I wanted to know, I saw on the news that the department had been vandalized, but when I came here, it looks like it's all been cleaned up.
Yes.
So you guys had that scrubbed off are there any photographs or other things that would be available to the public to be able to see what was done to the department?
You'd have to hit up our public information officer, Officer Byron White.
Okay.
I can get you a number for him if you give me a second.
That would be great.
Sure.